Today's session will be led by Rick Matkey and Stacy Halatke. Rick is a senior organizational change management solution architect, and Stacy is a senior pre-sales specialist for SAP training and enablement, both here at SAP SuccessFactors. Rick, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining today. So before we get in, today we're going to talk a little bit about SAP training and enablement, and specifically we're going to talk about organizational change management and our SAP Enable Now tool, and we'll provide a demo of our tool. So we're going to start off with a couple poll questions just to kind of gauge where the audience is. So if you could answer these. So this first question is digital transformation important for your business strategy? Does your organization have the skills necessary to drive software adoption and digital transformation? Has your organization implemented a learning and/or user adoption program to close the skills gap? Okay, we're going to take a look at how we answer this. So 83.3% of the participants on the webinar said that digital transformation is important to their business strategy, i.e. competing in today's marketplace. For the second question, does your organization have the skills necessary to drive software adoption and digital transformation? So this is about half and half, with the majority of folks saying no, they don't have the skills necessary to drive digital transformation. And finally, has your organization implemented a learning and/or user adoption program to close the skills gap? We have about 92% saying no, they have not. So let's see how this compares with a broader study in the marketplace. So this slide highlights some of the realities of digital transformations. And the problem is that although most organizations view digital transformation as strategic for their business, they haven't prepared their people to contribute to this transformation. Simply put, most organizations lack the training and skills needed to realize the full value from our solutions. Let's look at these statistics. So about 90% of organizations in today's environment consider digital transformation a strategic priority. Yet most of these organizations have a digital skills gap and lack the skills needed for such transformation. And even more organizations at roughly 84% lack any sort of programs to help close this gap. So what our experience tells us at SAP Training and Enablement is that the importance of addressing the people side of your transformation has never been more important than it is today. And really, getting technology implemented and getting it to work is the easy part. But what we know is getting people to work with the technology and drive adoption of the technology and getting them enabled on the solutions is the hard part. So we're going to take just a minute to go through SAP Training and Enablement products and services that we have that we've developed and designed to help drive adoption and enablement for your users. So this is the continuous learning framework from SAP Training and Enablement. So these are a combination of all of our products and services that we have designed, again, to drive adoption and get your teams up to speed. So first we have prepare your project team, and this is where we get a lot of the technical folks up to speed, your super users, your configuration experts, things like that before the project goes live. And we use a tool called Learning Hub for this, which we're not going to go into a lot of details in today's call about, but if you have questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them. The second step you'll see here is Mobilize for Change, and this is where we apply change management principles to communicate the coming changes and really gain buy-in across the organization. Step number 3 in our continuous learning framework is train end users for high performance. And this is using our tool, SAP Enable Now, which we're going to go through today, and we'll show a demo of that as well. And 4th, we have measure progress and remediate problems. And this is using one of our tools called User Experience Management by NOAA. And with this tool, you can collect data to measure how effectively people are using your SAP software. And again, this isn't one of the tools that we're going to be going through today, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have about that, and we can certainly follow up if you have questions after the webinar. And finally, ensure continued success. So this is really where we leverage all of these tools and services to really drive this continuous learning framework. So driving end user adoption through organizational change management. So what is organizational change management? Organizational change management focuses on the people side of technical change. So it's not the software developers and the configuration and all of that. It's really the human side of change. And it is a structured and ongoing program that enables an organization to move proactively from their current state toward a desired future state. So what is the desired future state for you? Is it simply having software implemented on time and under budget? Probably not, right? Most of our customers' desired future state is achieving a return on their investment with software. So it's realizing clear and measurable business value by using their solutions to the fullest potential to drive desired business outcomes. However, when customers purchase software, they automatically assume 100% adoption of it, and they build their whole business case for buying software based on this percentage. But as we know, this just isn't true. A lot of times you're lucky if you get 30 to 50% adoption rates. But through OCM efforts, we focus on people and driving adoption through a structured program consisting of several primary elements we'll take a look at in a little bit. So the realities of IT transformations, in a recent study from McKinsey & Company, they showed that about 70% of all transformations fail to meet their desired objectives. Now, why is this? Well, this study cites that a weak culture that isn't aligned with the mission is a top reason for this. Also, lack of participation and buy-in, under-communicating a powerful vision, over-communicating a poor vision, not enough training or resources, and change fatigue. So this is where SAP's organizational change management efforts and methodology comes into play to kind of tackle some of these so we can kind of beat these odds. So other studies around change management show that there is a case for effective change management, right? ProSci cites that with excellent change management, your project is 6 times more likely to meet your objectives than with poor change management. And with excellent OCM programs, it was 143% ROI when OCM was part of the initiative. Alternatively, when a poor OCM program or no program was involved at all, there was negative 35% ROI. So what is SAP's approach to organizational change management? So this is our methodology here at SAP. So if you look here, we have 6 pillars that we really focus on to drive adoption. The first is executive alignment, and that's where we get, we create a vision of success. We, determine who are the change champions within the organization at the highest levels. We help build a personal change story and gain commitment from all layers within the organization. And then we have communication, where we identify regional communication channels. We help design key messages and the timing. We engage with local change agents and collect feedback and improve these communications. Then we have organizational readiness, which is where we assess the degree and complexity of change for each role and within the organization. We help create a checklist of readiness activities and develop key success metrics and KPIs. And then we have stakeholder management, where we determine who are the affected stakeholders. Then we assess the needs of these various stakeholder groups. And finally, understand if and how any roles will change with the new technology. Then we have skills development. So this is the training and learning aspect of OCM. So here we focus on end user training, and we create relatable user stories. We use multimodal training to cover different learning styles, and through Enable Now, you'll see in a minute that we use in-app guided support now, which has really changed the game for how we train end users. And also under this bucket, we have, we help build regional super user networks, which are really important when implementing software. And finally, we have measurement and reinforcement, because you can't manage what you can't measure. So we help, again, set up these KPIs and measure progress against them. This is where we would help share lessons learned and really drive adoption through reinforcement, and that would be specific to your organization. So why choose SAP for your organizational change management program? Well, the best path to transformation is active engagement across your organization. And SAP Training and Enablement will team with you as you embark upon that journey starting in the early phases of the project. We'll stay with you every step of the way, tailoring our approach to fit your business needs as we position you to own user adoption going forward. Here are 5 reasons why SAP is your only choice for change management and learning. First, we have a project testing methodology. So no one knows SAP solutions better than we do. We simply are SAP, and we use our SAP Activate methodology, which we have different phases, so it's a more of an agile approach to OCM. We have experienced consultants that are handpicked for your project, and we are hands-on with the experience with the tools that will drive your content development, such as Enable Now, which we'll get into next. We're one team, so we work closely with your implementation teams. It's just one SAP team delivering you value. And finally, we have trusted advisors that stick with you for the long term. We have delivery executives that are on your project from start to finish. So now that was the organizational change management side of the webinar. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about end user training and our tool, SAP Enable Now. So with that, I'll hand this over to Stacy.
Great. Thank you, Rick, and good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone had a great holiday weekend, and thank you so much for joining today. We really appreciate it. So as Rick kind of reviewed the model of continuous learning, the step 3 in that model was talking about enabling our end users, helping them to be confident in navigating through the applications, allowing them to better adopt applications as they're implemented, and certainly be able to be more productive in their jobs, which ends up with our organizations being more productive. And so, as you see here, some of the statistics, as we enable our end users to have the appropriate knowledge and confidence in the applications, we end up with reduced help desk tickets, less support and training costs, certainly executing our business processes more efficiently, and then being able to more efficiently document things. And Enable Now is a tool that allows us to really accomplish all of this. And so as we think about how people learning, how they learn effectively, there's a lot of different ways that all of us like to learn. We have 5 generations now in the workforce. So as you can imagine, there are those of us who might have been very used to a very traditional type of training, instructor-led. I go into a class, I get a binder, and I take the class, and I come home, put the binder in my cubicle, and then I go about my day. We have generations now that like to really learn on the job or in a more informal way, and this is really the flexibility of Enable Now and what it allows us to do. And so once again, this tool allows us to really reflect the more traditional types of learning, the newer, more digital learning options, as well as a blended approach. And so this is kind of more of our focus now. So thinking about what Enable Now is. As we've mentioned, different types of learning, different modalities, different deliveries. And throughout the maybe implementation of a new product, we're looking to traditional documentation, test scripts, different leading practices, or a blended approach. As we go to roll out a product, maybe we're looking to look at simulations and recordings to get examples of how we execute something within a program. We're now looking to do things more on our mobile devices, on the go. And then finally, that end user, when they're actually in the application, trying to use it, trying to get assistance, it provides performance support. So Enable Now allows you to really impact all of those areas. And really the important thing to think about here is it's all based on single source editing. And what that means, for example, if I'm in an application and I'm using Enable Now to record a simulation, so the system is actually tracking each mouse click, it's kind of storing all that so that if I want to, at the touch of a button, I can produce a test script based on those choices. I could produce a job aid. I could help lay the groundwork for an ebook utilizing that recording. And if ever anything changes, that one single source recording references, say a company logo rebranding or something like that, if it's changed once within that initial simulation recording within Enable Now, it cascades to everywhere where that object is referenced. So anytime that logo might be referenced in job aids, in e-learning courses, and anywhere else. So once again, the idea is to allow you and your content authors to be able to more efficiently create content of all different types of modalities and be able to efficiently edit it and establish governance around it. And once again, you can see some of the things we're referencing there. So once again, the modalities we support, the formal traditional learning we're all familiar with. It does produce e-learning courses that can be authored in SCORM or AICC compliant options. It does manage traditional classroom training. It does allow you to create assessments and quizzes. More on that informal learning side, you can use Enable Now to create ebooks or different areas to create knowledge portals or knowledge bases. You can use it to create simulations and have videos that are referenced within training and other types of user-generated content. And then really, with this more recent cutting-edge performance support, it allows you to customize the standard in-app help that is in SAP cloud products, whether it be SuccessFactors, whether it be S/4HANA, whether it be Ariba, whether it be Concur. You have the ability to customize that standard in-app help to better align with your business processes. So in the example of SuccessFactors, SuccessFactors is a highly configurable system. So not everyone has the same fields enabled or the same terminology that they've chosen in their implementation. So with Enable Now, you can actually customize that in-app help to better align with the choices that you've made during your implementation that align with your business. So let's go ahead and demonstrate real quick and just give you an idea of what that standard in-app help looks like. Bear with me a moment as I share my screen. All right, so hopefully, and I will ask Rick or Jesse to validate if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can, and that's looking good.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. You never know with technology some days. Okay, so anyway, so we're here in, your typical SuccessFactors Fiori environment here. And as an end user, I have the ability to have standard in-app help that is available as part of every SAP Cloud solution. So if I click on the question mark here, this is an example of the standard help. Now, what's nice is this is, once again, the end user having their ability to page over things and say, okay, here's where I actually get some information on how to approve a leave request. Or maybe I'd like to link out to the SuccessFactors client community to get more information. Maybe I'd like to access specific learning that is relevant to this particular area that I'm on. So by standard, we do have this in-app help available. However, with Enable Now, you have the ability, and here's trying to time out on me, with Enable Now, you have the ability as a content author to go in and say, you know what, my company has a very specific business process around approving leave requests. So maybe I would like to go in and adjust this help. Maybe I would like to go in and edit it. Maybe I'd like to change some different text here to better align with my business processes. So I have the ability to do that as a content author, and once again, then publish this to my users so they can actually see this information and have it be live and in time. Once again, I could also go in as a content author using Enable Now to further customize the standard in-app help to add additional performance support. I could add a guided tour that would guide my end user maybe through the process of approving a leave request. I could add additional help tiles if I wanted to maybe point out some other areas, like how to recognize and reward someone, maybe how someone can build up their profile. I could also add what's called a link tile, and that was the example of this tile here that actually links out to a discoverable URL somewhere else. In this case, this is the SuccessFactors community, but it could be something on your own organization's SharePoint site, on your own internal portal. It could be whatever URL that you would like to link out to. You could also link out to whether you license SuccessFactors learning management system or another learning management system. You could link out to relevant learnings where, depending on where that user was, on whatever screen, on whatever transaction they were trying to perform, that they would be able to link out to relevant areas at that point in time. So once again, just something to kind of keep in mind. And to further, I'm going to get out of the edit mode here for a moment just to further illustrate, as I'm maybe elsewhere within the system. Let's say I'm looking at time off planning. I can once again bring up context-sensitive help, maybe a guided tour that allows me to understand how I create a leave request. And once again, this is something that comes standard with the system, but with Enable Now, you can create your own guided tours or customize the ones that are here to, once again, give that learner the ability to click through, understand the steps they need to perform, and in a live system, complete a task and go from there. And really the idea is we're trying to give our end users the most assistance that they have necessary for them to be successful and confident in navigating the system, better ensuring user adoption, hopefully cutting down on trouble tickets, hopefully giving your help desk teams a little bit more time to do other work instead of maybe some of the more simple trouble tickets and incidents that were there. And, once again, just to kind of re-clarify, this in-app help that can be customized with Enable Now is available across SAP Cloud applications. We're focusing, of course, on SuccessFactors today. Another thing I did mention was maybe more of the standard traditional help or traditional training and enablement that now allows you to create. So for example, with our Enable Now producer, this is an area where my content that my content authors might have created, they have the ability to go in and create a simulation, create a text unit maybe that goes on to an ebook page, the ability to create a quiz, and the ability, whenever they have something created, they can automatically go in and, at the click of a button, translate into other languages. If you're a global organization, they can create additional types of outputs, such as PDFs, such as Word documents, all from a single recording, as you can see here on the left-hand side of my screen. So once again, a very powerful tool, a very flexible tool that you can use to create your standard content that all of us have been used to consuming for quite a while, as well as the newer performance support content that gives that end user the ability to be as confident as possible. One of the other things that I wanted to share as well is that we have an Enable Now Info Center, which any of you, we can certainly include the link and the follow-up recording, Jesse, which may be a good idea. But this Info Center is an area where you can look more closely at Enable Now. There's actually free content and templates that can be downloaded so that it gives your content authoring teams a head start in authoring the traditional content. There's training courses where content authors can understood how to author in Enable Now. And we actually use Enable Now to create this site and the items that you're going to be able to see on there. For your more technical teams, if they want more technical information on Enable Now, there are installation and configuration guides, component manuals, and the product is updated quarterly as a cloud product, and so there are product update information as well as roadmaps that you can take a look at. And so would definitely encourage you to explore this site, and it really gives you a first look at the type of content that can be authored right within this own information center. I'll also point out that there is a rich, on the SAP Help portal, so help.sap.com, and you can search for SAP Enable Now. There is a rich, once again, another set of information because, once again, Enable Now has many components. It has that traditional content authoring component. It has that web assistant component, which was what we were showing you earlier to be able to edit the standard in-app help and SAP products. And another great question that's asked is, can I put interactive help in non-SAP products, such as, let's say, Word or PowerPoint or anything like that? The answer is yes. It has a component to do that called Desktop Assistant. So on the Info Center, which I showed you, as well as help.sap.com, searching for Enable Now, has all of that information. And certainly, as you want any additional information, your client partner can help provide that for you and connect you with Rick and myself and our team, who are happy to provide demonstrations more in depth for you, happy to answer any questions, and certainly provide the additional information from there.